There you have it. Newcastle 4, Bradford 1. Newcastle through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. We had our golden Carabao Cup badges on last night, and we take on, from winning it last year, and we take on Spurs at home in the next round. Thoughts and comments on the win down below. Want to get into some positives today. Positive start to our Thursday morning. Cup of tea here in a travel mug. Do this video, head straight off to work. Talk about the positives and Spurs at home next round. Thoughts and comments on that one down below. But yes, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Early start this morning. As I say, I went to the game last night. By the time I got out and got home, I thought, you know what, I'm going to bed. Late night, get up this morning. Let's start it off positive. It was a League One opposition, and I will say, by the way, big up to the Bradford fans. I was sat in the Leazers stand below them, and oh my God, they were giving it a good go. Even when they went 1-0 down, even when they went 2-0 down, they were still cheering. And I'll actually say, I would rather the clean sheet, don't get me wrong. And I would rather that after Miley, for me, actually had a decent game. I've seen people, you know, really hyping him up from the game last night, and I'll jump on it. You know what? Fine, I'll go for it. The lad needs a little bit of a positive push at the moment, as he has had a bit of stick after the last two games. He was solid, but I would have still liked to see more from him. You know, maybe I'm asking too much from our local lad, but against the League One side, I thought it allowed people like Osula to really flourish. I thought Joe Linton was great. You know, Bruno was top-notch as well. Defensively, we were great. I'm going to get at the bottom and Thiaw in a minute. I would like to have seen Miley maybe be a little bit more forward-thinking, but maybe I'm being tough on the lad. Anyway, what he did do, unfortunately, was give the ball away and allow them to score. However, it was Andy Cook, who scored the goal. I think when the game got drawn, there was a lot of viral videos going around of him celebrating the fact that he would be playing at Newcastle United. His missus posted a photo of her wearing a Bradford top saying, "At my local, I never thought I'd be at my home club wearing a different team's shirt," and all this. So yeah, good for him. If we're going to concede a goal at Newcastle, you know, may as well be to a fellow mag, especially when we're already winning 3-0. And then went on to win 4-1. Oh, yeah, 2-1, 3-1. Anyway, it didn't matter in the end, although a clean sheet would have been nice. But as I say, Spurs in the next round. We'll touch on that quickly. Okay about that? Newcastle play well in the cup games. We know that. We G ourselves up for the cup games. We G ourselves up even more when it's against the likes of Spurs, Arsenal, Man City, Man United. So I'm not too upset about it. I always prefer in the cups to play, well, a lower league side. Well done, Rob. Michael Owen quote. No, an away game, actually. You know, give us Wrexham away, give us Wickham away, give us something a little bit more spicy than just, you know, a game that we're going to see twice this season anyway. But we've got a decent record against Spurs, specifically in recent years. You know, Jacob Murphy himself has a good record against Spurs in recent years. So, yeah, I'll take it. It's in a few weeks' time. It comes around quick. So, yes, Spurs at home. I don't think the Spurs fans will be happy about it. Put it that way. You know, I'm all right about it. Could have definitely had a better draw there, but it could have been worse. And for all intents and purposes, you know, there was quite a few Premier League tough draws in there. So yeah, we'll G ourselves up for the Spurs game. But let's talk a little bit about some of the players last night and take a little bit of positivity through into the game against Arsenal at the weekend. So it's not getting easier, and I think the win has come at just the right time for us. Obviously, we had the Wolves game, which were won. Big Voltemada got on the score sheet, but I don't think we really got into that final fifth gear. We then had a tough game against Barcelona, which we lost, which was disappointing, frustrating, but it was Barcelona, let's be real. And then we had Bournemouth at the weekend, which was a very good point, Eddie Howe mixed things around. Eddie Howe tried a different system, tried some different players, just trying to use the squad. And going into last night's game, I had a feeling that we would see more changes. So to see the likes of Miley come in, to see the likes of Osula come in, to see Thiaw and Botman start at the back together, anyone? You have to argue that Shaw and Byrne have been immense. Realistically, Dan Byrne came in and very quickly was replaced by Sven Botman. And it just hasn't happened. Partly because Sven Botman has had his injury troubles, but partly because Dan Byrne's been fantastic. He's made it into the England squad at the age of 33. There is no real rush to usher either Byrne or Shaw out of the side right now. I think Shaw has been a little bit iffy at times over the last year, but generally speaking, the pair of them have been great. But to see Botman and Thiaw last night was good. Botman's great, but Botman's played the last few games. And has been fantastic to watch, really solid. Again, League One side continue to caveat this conversation with that, but to see them two together was good. Getting Thiaw, a full 90 minutes or close to a full 90 minutes in the game is really positive. I'll be interested to see what we do against Arsenal. Knowing Eddie Howe, it wouldn't surprise me to maybe see if Shaw is back in time or is he not with the concussion. Three-man back. The back five. Byrne, Botman, Shaw, Byrne, Botman, Thiaw. Hall came back in, played a good chunk of the game as well, which is really exciting. I want to see him back in action. Hall and Tino, or in fairness, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes Tino and Trippier. But it's great to see a little bit of depth in that back line. We really haven't had it. And, you could argue that the Bournemouth game, I felt like even when we talk about depth, we were stretching it quite a lot. That back fight without Bruno, without Joe Linton, it's like, oh God, have we got the players to cope? Yeah, we did actually. We really did. We played really strong defensively and just couldn't click going forward. Yesterday, we were really strong defensively and we clicked going forward. Undeniably, the minute you put Bruno back into our side against any team, we excel. We are better. I think in the Bournemouth game, we struggled to kind of get from, if A is the defence and B is the striker, there was no conduit between. It was all very much over the top. It was all very much down the flanks. And look, when you've got Elanga and I guess Gordon, I think Barnes has been really quiet this season. I thought Gordon was full of beans today. I thought he played really well. It's great to have him back from his ban, especially when Barnes has been so quiet. I would argue that Gordon should have finished his dinner at more than once tonight. I think he should have had a few goals. I think that Elanga probably had one of the best games I've seen him play against Barcelona. I was hoping that was the click of the fingers and Elanga suddenly in action. Hasn't quite joined up, but I'm skipping ahead a little bit there. Defensively strong, attacking wise. I hate to say it, and I've seen a lot of criticism online for how we've played attacking wise. I honestly, it's the Isak hangover. I would probably call it. It's probably the best way I can describe it. And I'll probably use that as a title for a video at some point, so don't steal it. But we didn't have it last night. But I think that's kind of how it's felt. It's like Elanga's like, I've been used to playing with this guy, international duty for years. Oh, hang on, where's he gone? Gordon trying to interlink with, it worked. We definitely should have scored 7 or 8 goals last night, but football doesn't work that way. We scored 4, so I'm not going to be upset about it. And for Osula, a man who, really is at the end of that sheet, is at the end of the depth that we have, for him to come in and score goals, I'm hoping there's that big confidence boost. The trouble with Osula is the best games I've seen him play were against, was it Wickham? Was it Wickham? No, it can't have been. Bromley at home. That makes more sense. And Birmingham away. And now Bradford at home. The games where Osula's kind of played his best football have been the lower league sides. Having said that, has he got 5 goals in his last 5 starts? I saw that the other day. And he has got a goal this season. So maybe it is starting to tick over. There's big different opinions on Osula. Some people think he is the man and he can do it and he's still young, and others are, no, he doesn't. And I don't know. Last night was I'm hoping was a real, yeah, Osula actually does have something and we need to give him the time. Because I would say that we definitely haven't given him the time that he should have had last season with playing Wilson over and over. You know, when we've seen him play against Leeds in a few games at the start of this season, I'm going, oh, right, okay. I'm starting to realise why we didn't play him last season. But as of last night, was really, really positive. So we'll stick with the youngsters. Osula was great. Miley came in. I thought Miley was, yeah. I touched on him at the start, so I won't go through it. I thought he was good. People are fairly excited about him online. I just want to see more. Maybe I'm harsh. Cracking the whip on Miley, our local lad, and has taken a bit of a beating from the fans recently. I'm glad he was part of a winning side. I'm sad that he gave the ball away and they scored the goal, because that's what lives in people's memories, unfortunately. There's many, you know, and he didn't have to do a lot of defensive work either, which is why I wanted to see him maybe progress the ball a little bit further forward. But Joe Linton, we haven't even spoke about him. Joe Linton gets 2 goals. Why couldn't he get 3? A Joe Linton hat-trick would have been exactly what I wanted to see last night. I'm going to leave it there. I've jumped around a little bit. You can let me know your man of the match down below. I think Joe Linton actually got man of the match. I think I would give it to Osula. I thought he was really impressive. And I think maybe Joe Linton is, you know, we already know Joe Linton's good. Joe Linton's good, and then he got a few goals, so bravo, Joe Linton. Osula, we don't even know where he's going to go. In a true Osula style, he scored a goal and then immediately rugby tackled someone about 2 minutes later, which is another reason why I think Eddie Howe is still undecided on him. But yeah, I thought there's my good morning roundup. I've not even had any of my tea. Boiling. There's my good morning roundup. Thoughts and comments down below on your man of the match. I'm going for Osula. It is Arsenal this weekend. You've got to imagine it'll be Tonali will be straight back in. Voltemada. Big Nicky, didn't mention him. Only came on for 15-20 minutes and he made a difference straight away. Like, he was good. He didn't score, but you can just see those little intricate passes. We're just playing a different way. I called it the Isak hangover earlier, and I think it's true. Like, the players around, the strikers, the wingers, more specifically, are just getting used to what people are doing. You know, a lot of balls today, Gordon's hitting it back stick and there's nobody there. Elanga's drilling it across the box and nobody's there. And it's just like, and fair enough, Osula did get into positions and did score the ball from Bruno, which he took on and like chipped the keeper off. It was really good. But against the Premier League side, you don't get as many chances as that. And that's what's shone through the last few games, is we just haven't taken enough chances. We had about 1 million last night. That's how we scored 4 goals. We needed time. I think we hoped that between Wissa and Nick Voltemada, that one of them would come in and one of them would start scoring straight away and no one would be asked that Isak even left. It hasn't happened that way, and because of that, it's just ticking over. You know, it's just ticking on, and we're just starting to get there. Wissa being injured hasn't helped. Voltemada hasn't been match fit, that hasn't helped. And it's just taken that little tick. The only thing if I had to say, was going to Arsenal this weekend, you'd imagine Voltemada will start. Some of that tick-a-tacker that we're trying against Bradford, when they're already 4-0, 4-1 down, and they've already given up, and we were still not quite clicking, trying to then do that against, you know, an informed Arsenal side with far better players, isn't going to be easy either. So, yes, I'm happy that we won. I think we needed that boost. We needed that positive. I'm really happy to see the youngsters step in and do a good job. I'm happy to see the squad depth kind of shine through a little bit. Yeah, we can make changes and we can still win games. We can still get good points away at Bournemouth. It's got to be full strength this Sunday for Arsenal, and we've got to be on our game. You know, whoever plays up front, whether it, you know, who knows, is Osula giving the shout for you? I mean, he just scored 2 goals. Maybe he has. Let me know in the comments. But yes, Drop a like on this video if you are happy to see a big Carabao Cup win for Newcastle. Let's try and get back to Wembley again. I mean, we're still a few games away yet, but I think Spurs at home is a decent draw. Arsenal this weekend, and I will be there with all the usual pre-match, post-match videos, so don't miss out. Thank you for watching. I've talked for way longer than I planned, and I need to hurry up and leave before I'm late. Thank you for watching, guys. Get me travel mug top on. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you later.